Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this media briefing in relation to Trinidad and Tobago senior men's football team final two games in the World Cup qualifying effort Russia 2018. I have on my left national senior team head coach Dennis Lawrence, and as most of you all know, because we sent it out last night, the team has been selected for those two World Cup qualifiers. The first one will be on October 6th in San Luis Potosi, Mexico. And then the second one will be on October 10th, right here at the home of football, the Attobolan Stadium, all the way across in the cycling velodrome. But it will be at the Attobolan Stadium on the 10th versus the USA. Before I go any further, I'd like to thank the sports company of Trinidad and Tobago for facilitating us here. Our facility across at the Attobolan Stadium is being fumigated because we found some vermin. So we have 2 days away from our offices, and the sports company allowed us to occupy here and a room also at the aquatic center to do our business. So we'd like to thank them, and as usual, one of our partners in this football venture. For those who did not see the team, it's as follows: Neil Benjamin, Trevin Caesar, Daniil Cyrus, Adrian Fonset, Levi Garcia, Kevon George, Curtis Gonzalez, Tristan Hodge, Kaleem Highland, Alvin Jones, Jovin Jones, Nathan Lewis, Gerard London, Kevin Molino, Leston Paul, Gregory Ranjit Singh, Akeem Roach, Glenroy Samuel, Keaton St. Hilaire, Josiah Trimmingham, Kevon Villarreal, Shadon Winchester, and Michael Williams. That's the 23 selected for the two upcoming qualifiers. I now hand the mic over to the national senior team head coach, Dennis Lawrence, to give some opening remarks.
Hello, good morning to all. In terms of the team selection, obviously, we all understand now that we're not in a position to qualify for Russia anymore. That doesn't mean that the campaign is over. We've got two very, very important games coming up, which is the Mexico game and the USA game. We selected the squad based on the fact that looking forward to the future. I think if you look at the squad, there's 10 players in there that is under the age of 24 and under. So the idea now is to try and get these players to understand what international football is all about. And immediately we focus on the development of Trinidad and Tobago football and the pathway that we're going to choose. Some of the players in them are going to be young and exciting. I've had a look at them in the Pro League, and I think they're going to offer something that is going to bear well for Trinidad and Tobago future. Surrounding the squad, obviously there's things that people would want to know. So I think it's important that we get out of the way. In relation to the stories that went out in regards to the two players involved in the minor league, yes, which is Aubrey David and Jamil Boswain. I think it's very important that everybody understands Jamil and Aubrey are two of the more disciplined players in the squad. Obviously, the two players made a huge error in judgment. When you make judgments like that and you make errors like that, there has to be consequences. So they are not involved in this squad. The decision is made that they will be suspended for the two games, and then we move forward from there. But as I said before, it's two players that are two very disciplined players, two players that are very much in plans for what we need to do for the future. But obviously, they made a huge error, an error in judgment, and there has to be consequences for those sorts of errors. In terms of the other story that went out in regards to Stern John, I decided to clarify on that Stern John played in a game in the Pro League, obviously, and I received a phone call within 10 minutes of the completion of the game. I was informed about certain comments and allegations that was made on the football pitch. Unfortunately, I wasn't given any time whatsoever to have to deal with the situation because there was a story published less than 24 hours after the kickoff. Since then, I've then spoke to Stern, I've spoke to Northeast Stars head coach Derek King, and we both expressed our thoughts on the matter, and it's a matter that is dealing with private and confidential. So I just like to get those two matters out of the way. And as I said, we look forward to the next 2 upcoming games. The preparation is going to start on the 1st. The idea is to travel directly to Mexico and do all the preparations there before returning home on the 7th to prepare for the USA game.
Thank you very much, Coach. We'll now open the floor for any questions to the coach regarding the team selection. Asana?
I think the question you're asking is very much not what I just said. What I said was, right, there was allegations made about Stern. I was not on the football pitch. Anytime you're dealing with allegations, there has to be any sort of investigation. It's a matter that, as I said, I spoke to the coach of the Northeast Stars, I spoke to Stern. We had a good conversation in relation to it. I think as well my advice to Stern was, I think, look, what you were trying to do was for the good of the team. Obviously, his team is in a situation at the moment that they're struggling for players. They've got injuries. He thought it would be best to go and try and see if he can help the club by playing. I think it's probably not the best thing for him to do. And I don't think he would play in any more Pro League games because I think it's better if he serves on the sideline. So there's no difference in Aubrey and Stern from the point that you're trying to make. The point is that Aubrey and Boswin, both, I had conversation with them. They both admitted to what they did was wrong, so we can speak about it.
So then allegations meaning that Stern denied the statements that were made?
Have you spoke to Stern?
I was never together.
But I suggest you speak to Stern. I wasn't on the football pitch, so I suggest you speak to Stern and you get Stern's comment.
Like I said, that Stern denied it, is what you're saying?
What I'm saying to you is you should speak to Stern to ask him. I was given allegations that were made on the football pitch by the coach and Northeast Stars. I cannot confirm or deny it.
All right, I wanna move on from the Stern issue right now. I wanted to deal actually with the selection of the 23-man squad with regards to USA and Mexico. We have some interesting selections, and I thought, well, look, we'll lead off with that first and get into other matters. So let's just try and focus on the selection first, and then we'll go on to look at the other matters, except the Stern thing, because we don't deal with that already. Selection, anybody? Yes, Joel.
Coach, you made quite a few interesting selections, particularly dropping the last 2 captains you had, John Michael Williams and Sheldon Batu. Is that an indication that you may not have been pleased with the leadership you saw of the team, or is it a fact that they're trying to try new players in leadership positions in national team?
Yeah, the selection was based surrounding the direction we're trying to go forward. I know fully well what John Michael is capable of. I know fully well what Sheldon Bato is capable of. Sheldon is in a situation he's suspended for the first game against Mexico. Also, he has a final to play with his club in Kazakhstan on the 14th. So if he comes back and he plays with Trinidad, it gets him back into Kazakhstan on the 13th, which is not fair to him for his final. So we thought it would be in good faith to work with the club and allow him to stay and make sure he's in good physical condition for his final on the 14th.
One particular new face in two particular Birmingham and Cincinnati. Is it what you have got from the coaches who do play on now? That's what we saw in the
Yeah, I've been watching them in the local leagues. I think Keaton in particular has done particularly well. He's one of the younger players in Trinidad and Tobago that is playing consistently. And I think it's a perfect opportunity to integrate these players into the international setup at senior level so they can get an idea what it's going to be like, because we need to start thinking ahead. We need to start thinking forward. And when you got Keaton at the age of 19, 20, whatever years, and then Trinidad number 20, I think it's a good opportunity for them to come in and get a feel of what top-level international football is going to be about. Keston Julian and Neville Hackshaw are both on the radar. I had a conversation with Keston Julian. The situation at the moment is this: what we need to try and eradicate. We've got a number of players that are playing in different leagues in different countries. The situation we have is Keston has not played a competitive game since the 12th of August. We've got Kyodel Keto, who's in the same position. We've got Jamal Williams, who is in the same position. I think when we need to be fair with the Pro League, if there's a player that is consistently playing in the Pro League and is doing well, I think it's unfair of me to select players that are not actively involved with their clubs, whether it be foreign or local. I think it's the opportunity where players need to be involved with the clubs, whether it be foreign or whether it be local. Keston is in a position at the moment that he's not playing competitively. I had a conversation with him. We spoke about it. He knows what he needs to do. He's fighting for his position, and he wants to learn. He wants to do well. So from the moment we can integrate these players in him, then we will do it. I think Greg was involved before I came. This is going to be his first time under my watch, but he was involved before. I've been looking at Greg for a while. Obviously, I had the senior players in John and Marvin and Fonset and these boys, and I didn't think at the time it was any need to push the button on him. Greg is 24 years, and as I said before, the thinking is all about going forward. At 24 years, I think he's in a prime time in his career, and I think the opportunity has come where we can look at him and see what he's got to offer for Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, we saw the apology from the boys who just suspended. We never saw anything from Cordell Cato. Is it that you didn't think Cato needed to apologize to his players or the public?
Cordell Cato did apologize.
Did he apologize to the public? I never saw it.
He never apologized to the public because it was a private matter between him and the team.
He apologized to the team.
He did.
This was before the Jamaica game?
This was before we even played the game against the US, against Costa Rica, and the 2 games that he was out for, and the game against the USA. He apologized to the team.
Okay, so he came into camp and apologized, or was it an email or something?
Maybe you should speak to Cordell Cato. All I can say is he did apologize.
Okay.
I mean, Coach, in all honesty, the recent results have not been that great. There have been some talk that, in your instance, that perhaps taking on the coaching job, especially with little head coach experience, but perhaps it might be already your first head coach job. Do you think that you may be really under pressure to prove to the federation that you will keep it long term, or have they spoken to you regarding your future as a coach?
The only pressure I'm under is the pressure I put myself under. As I said before, when you will have direction and you know exactly what you're going to do, you don't put yourself under pressure. When you become a head coach, right, you have to be sure of what you're doing, and I am 100% sure. We were in a situation that unfortunately we didn't qualify for the Russia campaign for many obvious reasons. The first place I started looking and said, what can I do better, what can I improve? In regards to my experience as a coach, as a head coach, I didn't think it was the reason why we didn't qualify. I think it's because of our performances. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, as you mentioned, continue from David's question. You had a very, in a way, inexperienced staff behind you, Sol Campbell didn't have much. He had playing experience, but not much coaching experience still and so on. Now we're going into this new phase where you look at content more or less, going into this new phase. You retain people like Sol Campbell and stuff, how do you start about what is your?
I think before we start speaking about people's contracts and things like that, I would like to have the opportunity to speak to the personnel themselves before we make those decisions. What I can say to you is there's been no decision made in regards to the staff or what we're going to do.
Also, touching on the staff itself, the past few matches, particularly Panama game, there have been incidents where there have been lots of defensive breakdowns. I know you are a former defender, Torchard was a former defender, Sorkam was a former defender. What do you think you will have to do in defense now? Do you think we have to look extra, or you will have to hope that the players learn from the mistakes? What do you try to do in terms of trying to help the defense be more solid, especially the next 2 matches coming up?
That's one of the key areas that we need to improve on, because as correctly as you said, defensively we have let ourselves down in certain instances. The only way you correct these things is by working on the training pitch, working to try and put right the things that are going wrong. And that is what we intend to do leading into this Mexico game. Some of the mistakes that we are making, some are individual errors, and individual errors can always be corrected. But unfortunately, when you're trying to correct errors in the middle of a World Cup campaign, it doesn't help. So we need to improve on these things. We need to make sure that our development plan and our development process going forward can try and eradicate some of these defensive problems.
Could you give us an idea of your thoughts in most of your preparation for the Mexico game abroad?
Yeah, the idea is that we're going to go to Mexico, and very quickly, because we've got so many new faces in the squad, it's important that they get to understand the way how we want to play, the tempo that we're looking to play at, how we want to manage the game, and they need to get that very quickly tactically. So we're going to go there, we're going to prepare to take on, as everybody knows, a very, very good Mexican team. And we're going to go there and we're going to try and be positive again. And we're going to try and, as the question was asked, we're going to try and see if we can eradicate some of the defensive errors that we're making and see if we can compete and get a result.
Is it the best time to try to bring in the new players? As I said, you only have 4 days before the next game for guys like Keaton, who have never played at all at senior level.
Yeah, I think it's the best time now, because if you don't do it now, then what will be the best time? So I think sometimes going into the deep end is the best way to learn. So I think it's the perfect time for them.
Moving forward, now, what do you propose to do with respect to producing a stronger team? I mean, the next qualifiers, do you have to extend the preparation time for which you're going to have the players coming and training?
Extending the preparation time is totally out of our control, because the preparation time is mandated by FIFA in regards to the time when we can have the players. What we will try and do is, if we can get a bit more contact time with the players that are based locally, that will probably help. But in terms of any player that's playing abroad, that is something mandated by FIFA, and there's actually nothing we can do about it. We just need to work with the situation in terms of time period to get the players in.
It might be jumping the gun a bit, but do you have any specific plans or things you're looking forward towards next year, developing this young team basically?
Yeah, we've got plans that we've sat down and we've discussed, and this discussion was not after we didn't qualify for the World Cup. This discussion was before, during my appointment. We discussed the 2-tier plan, which was one, we knew we had Russia, so we were going to give Russia our best shot. And then the second tier was, right now we haven't qualified for Russia, how do we move forward in terms of developing a football philosophy for our country, and in terms of how we're going to develop players. Because, as I said before, and I'll say it again, we have not won anything in the Caribbean for the last 16 years, including the Caribbean Cup. And I think that's where our development process needs to start. We need to become more competitive in the Caribbean by winning things in the Caribbean before we can start branching off into the Gold Cup, then onto the World Cup. So there has to be a development process and a development pathway. So the moment, the focus of the moment is to become number one in the Caribbean again, and then we can build from there.
Talking about that, have you been in touch with the coaches? Because I know Latati is coaching in S17 and F15. The last under 20 coach was Brian Williams. Have you been in touch with them in terms of trying to mark out a protection plan for players so they could when they come up to your ranks, they wouldn't have to start from scratch in terms of team formation, team structure, that kind of thing?
Yes, we've been having meetings with the new technical director, Anton Cornell. So we meet on certain days and we all discuss the way how we want to go forward in terms of philosophy, in terms of the structure and how we want to put everything in place. And there's continuous meetings going on about how we want to map everything forward. So we have been having discussions, and all the coaches involved in the setup have been involved in these discussions.
You might be in the best position to map out a stronger defensive at least unit for the team. But with respect to having a stronger defense, then you think bringing in anybody.
We need to improve all around. One of the things that it's a bit frightening for me is there isn't many attacking players from our country at the moment that jumps out in the press saying to me, I want to be selected for the Trinidad and Tobago national team. So it's something that we need to improve on. We need to improve all around. We need to improve defensively. We need to improve offensively. The only how you correct these things is by work. Not in generally going and look and trying to find a player with a Trinidad and Tobago passport. We have to do the work on the football pitch. So the idea now is to go in and put this work in. We have to work. That is the only way we're going to get results. We're going to go out on the football pitch as much as often. We're going to work with the players and we're going to try and improve on the things that we need to improve on. And that's the only way we can go forward.
Are you going to put any kind of pressure on the Pro League? I've heard a coach saying that the Pro League isn't producing the kind of players that
No, I don't think it's the Pro League not producing the players. The Pro League, everybody understands, the Pro League is in a difficult time at the moment because financially it is not easy. When you take a team like Central FC, for example, won the Pro League in the last 3 years, and for whatever reason, then the state where they're in now, it tells you a lot about what's happening in the Pro League. I think the coaches in the Pro League are doing an incredible job. They're working as hard as they can to try and produce the players, and we need to try and help the Pro League. But the reality is that we need to be able to function in a way that we could improve players, and that is with the TTFA working with the Pro League working with the TTFA.
And also, I'm taking a look at the schools league in terms of the next generation of players. Have you either watched on Sportsmark or visited the market to see what's coming up?
No, I've been to a couple of the secondary schools football games, and it's really, really exciting. And one of the things that excites me about the secondary school league is the passion for to win the game, and it's something that we need to harness because I think it's fantastic, and that is what we need to take forward, because some of these secondary school games like blood and thunder, if you want to be totally honest, everybody's fighting to win the game, and it's something we need to go forward, because something that I said when I first came in is that our football path has changed, and I now need to build a team that is going to be surrounded with discipline, is going to be surrounded with passion, is going to be surrounded by dedication, because that is the only way you're going to achieve anything. So the secondary school league has that at the moment. We need to now find a way to harness that from the secondary school league and take that into our national setup.
You said for your last game that you're not satisfied that the leaders in the team stood up. Is it that the guys that selected for this match, like the Molinos and Jovins and so on, you were happy with what they gave in the last couple of games?
I selected a team basically, and I needed to put some senior players in and around the younger group. The senior players that have been involved for me are senior players that for the time I've been working, they've showed good leadership qualities, they've showed good responsibility in doing and being able to lead the younger ones. As I said before, you've got people like Rodanfa, Jan, these people, Marvin, these people, I know exactly what they're capable of. What I'm not saying to you is that the international career is not finished. But the next 2 games, I want to be able to have a look at some of the younger players, because I need to start thinking about moving forward. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for us to be able to move forward.
Have you identified who will be the captain for the next 2 matches, or that's what you need to do?
I've identified it, I know it clearly in my head, but I would not give it to anyone until I give it to the player and to the squad itself.
Alright, let's round up. Last question, everybody.
What would you say is the biggest challenge as head coach so far?
The biggest challenge I've had is facing the fact that so many of our players that play abroad have had inconsistent seasons in regards to playing for 90 minutes and then not playing for a period, and that has been an issue in terms of selecting the squad with the right balance. I think the boys have applied themselves well. Obviously we all need errors and things we need to improve on, but that has been the biggest challenge.
Oh, by the way, a lot of people have asked about Andre Buku, who hasn't played much under you. Is there any particular reason that he hasn't caught the eye or he hasn't done enough?
Next question.
Yeah. Well, really.
I will ask about something some people have asked about Saul Campbell. Nothing personal with Saul Campbell, whether he lives in one of York, but a lot of people have asked why is he not present most of the time in Trinidad to actually look at the defenders we have, and even when you're having training sessions, you look at this, be involved with them.
Saul Campbell was brought into the setup in particularly to try and improve us for the World Cup campaign. Saul Campbell was not brought into the setup with the vision of what I've brought myself into, the vision and the passion of improving Trinidad and Tobago on the long term. Saul Campbell has a wealth of experience, and I thought it would be best used in the short-term period, which was to try and achieve this goal of qualifying for Russia. Because the guy has got the experience, he's got that playing, he's got a passion about him, and I thought it was something that if I can bring him into the group now, immediately it will help the group to go forward. In terms of the vision of the long-term desire and the long-term development, it is a discussion I'm going to have with Saul, whether or not it's something he would be interested in doing. So that was the main reason why Saul Campbell was allowed to stay out in the UK and continue to develop himself as a coach, which he's been doing, going around to different clubs and trying to develop himself. One thing I would say to you, when I met Saul, I knew Saul wants to be a head coach. That's what he wants to be. It was a perfect opportunity for me to be able to bring somebody in with his stature, his qualities and his experience to come and help us to try and achieve the goal that we wanted to achieve, which was the Russia campaign.
Walter. Good? Right, you have one more, sir? Alright, nice. Okay, gentlemen, ladies, thanks a lot. We don't want you all to leave us yet. We have a second part to this media briefing. We all know that Trinidad and Tobago are grieving with the rest of the Caribbean for, sir. for Caribbean neighbors in the devastated by Hurricane Irma, Maria, and all the rest of them that happened in recent times. So the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association came up with an idea. Actually, it was the idea of Yuri Chapman, who was just here, the beach soccer aficionado, to help in the relief effort throughout the Caribbean, and especially try and help our member association colleagues in Dominica, St. Martin, and Antigua and Barbuda. To partner in that effort, we contacted the Lions Club of Trinidad and Tobago because we are in the business of football, and they know that area much better with regards to getting those types of relief efforts and stuff done. What we're going to do, we're going to use the game on the 10th versus the United States, to encourage people to donate to the hurricane relief effort throughout the island. We're going to have a 4-tier ticket system for that game. That means we'll have a hurricane relief ticket for $100 on covered stands and a normal ticket for $150. With the hurricane relief ticket, you'll need to bring 4 items from the ODPM list to contribute to the relief effort. So the prices went down from our last game, and things will go down further if you help us in the relief effort. So on covered stand ticket, $100 plus 4 items from the ODPM list. Or if you want to come in and just pay the normal price, it's $150 for the normal ticket. For the covered stands, $200 for the relief ticket plus 4 items from the ODPM list. Right? When you go to the ticket outlets, you'll ask for a relief ticket, or you want a normal ticket. The normal ticket will be $250 for the covered stands. So that's the relief effort, and we're going to set up a collection area right where we had the fan zone last time. If you all remember that, the Lions Club will be there in all their numbers and their nice yellow blazers, and we have 2 members from the Lions Club here, Miss Nadine Bochelle. She's the council chairman for Lions Caribbean, and we also have Mr. Anwar Hollingsworth. Right, he's the 2nd vice district governor. So to give you more on the effort from the Lions side, I'd like to ask Nadine to come up to the head table to tell us about Lions' end of the deal in this effort that we must do for Caribbean neighbors.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. We, Lions of the Caribbean, are very happy to partner with the Trinidad and Tobago Football Federation with respect to the hosting of the game between the USA and Trinidad and Tobago. It provides an opportunity for us as the Lions to engage directly with the public of Trinidad and Tobago in the relief efforts. We have a network of Lions across all of the Caribbean, and in particular in the affected countries. So what we have been doing, we have been liaising with those Lions. Some of them have been personally affected, but yet still we are still willing to assist, even though we have members who are themselves in need of assistance. So we have been working with the Lions throughout the Caribbean. We have focused particularly on the needs of children, getting children back to school, and we're also working with our international organization. We have a network of Lions in the Caribbean, which also extends to the globe. We have some access to some disaster relief funds that members within the Caribbean have raised themselves, and also from the international organization. So this effort allows us to supplement and augment what we are currently doing in the different Caribbean countries. And really would like to encourage the population of Trinidad and Tobago, in addition to showing its support to the young national players and their development, to also partner and show solidarity with the Caribbean people by actually buying tickets that are targeted towards the disaster relief to enable us to extend the services. Many of these countries have been totally devastated, so there isn't sufficient, there isn't enough, we can't give a lot of us, there isn't anything that cannot be left undone. We must assist, and even though the game is in 2 weeks' time, these countries have been decimated. So in fact, we always have to keep providing additional services in terms of basic food items, also cleaning supplies. As Mr. Cunningham said, the ODPM list gives a very detailed outline of what are some of the things that we would require. So we look forward to your support as well as support of the national players.
Thank you very much, Nadine. Now, the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association and the Lions Club would like to, urge our colleagues in the media to try and get this message out. We really want the football loving public that coming to that game on the 10th to buy the hurricane relief tickets. That is what we want. We really, in this case, we really don't want only to buy the normal tickets. We really want Trinidad and Tobago to buy the hurricane relief tickets. As I said, the Lions going to be out there in their numbers. They have the whole system down. Yesterday in our meeting, they rattled it off to us and we were most impressed. She had us just shaking our heads like this, so we know we're going to partner with the right people in this venture and get some relief to these Caribbean neighbors who need it so much. So once again, we're going to ask your help to get this message out there with regards to this relief effort, and let me see what we could do. Any questions? That question could be answered in a couple hours' time. The LOC is meeting, and we'll know that. I don't have the answer to that question right now. All right, with that said, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Once again, I'd like to thank the sports company at Trinidad and Tobago. We're only squatting here a little bit, but they've been so accommodating, and let's come out and support our team on the 10th and support our team on the 6th and support Trinidad and Tobago right through. Thank you.